you know, I'm not I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying that. That's not the type of person I am. I can see how many are saying that Kovalev won. I can see it. I can see like, okay, all right. I can see how they can say Kovalev won. But in my personal opinion, which I'm entitled to, right? Right? I say Andre Ward won. The new WBA Super World, WBO, IBF, and he should be the ring, and maybe should be pound for pound, 175-pound champion of the world. I am TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live for FightView360.com. Please subscribe. People have been telling me, did you watch the fight in black and white? What kind of HDMI cable do you have? Do you have the HDMI cable that came from the cable company, or did you get one of the good ones from Amazon? Did you watch the sound off? What commentary did you listen to? Did you listen to the Spanish commentary? You know, what size is the television? Were you drunk? Were you high off the medications because you were asleep? Because you was in the hospital? Did you watch it in the AM or the PM? Did you watch it with people? I've been doing this for a long time now. And if you really want to understand where I'm coming from, the reason why there are people still talking about this fight today, it's Tuesday going on Wednesday, is because it is controversy. You have a large group of people, right, who are considered to be mainstream media, who are saying that Kovalev won. But then you have another group of people who are saying that Andre Ward won. It was a close fight. You can't call a close fight a robbery. Why are you mad at me? My opinion, and it's a shame, I've talked about it previous in videos way before this fight, how like race plays a factor in YouTube commentary videos. Because you got these other people out here who bring up race in every single one of their videos. So because me, right, I've never been known to be on YouTube to be a guy who did videos or picked fighters based on race. In fact, I've been called a coon, Uncle Tom, and all kind of goddamn, crazy racial names because I pick fighters based on skills and who I think won, not based on race. So therefore, they see me pick Andre Ward because they're used to these other people out here saying, or picking fighters because they're black and all that. They think like, oh, black guy, of course he's going to pick Andre Ward. It's not the case. In fact, I've been very critical of Andre Ward over the last several years, and he deserves the criticism. Remember, his former promoter, rest in peace, Dan Goosen, took his contract to the grave. No bullshit. So there has to be a rematch. The rematch has to happen immediately. And when I say immediately, right now, they just fought 3 days ago, all right? So take this week off, but Monday, what's next Monday? Let me look at the date. What's next Monday? Monday, the 28th of November, they need to fucking, they take this week off, but starting on Monday, start getting this deal done. If the beautiful and alluring Kathy Duva of Main Events Promotions, the promoter of Sergey Kovalev, if they want this fight done and they want to prove that they won, then they got to bow down to Rock Nation. Rock Nation is now the A side in this. So if you want this rematch, listen, bow down to Rock Nation. Because if the rematch doesn't happen, somebody's going to take a lot of heat. And this is not the type of rematch where they need to take a interim bout. They need to get this shit over with immediately, because if there's an interim bout, then it has to be a mandatory for Andre Ward. And then for Kovalev, who is it going to be? Maybe he could fight Nathan Cleverly and get that WBA world title and beat him again. Remember, he already knocked Nathan Cleverly out. Maybe he can take that fight. Andre Ward, since he has 3 belts now, it's best that he fights whoever the future mandatory is going to be. Because I want both of these guys to fight for all 3 of those titles. I don't want the titles to be split up. Remember when Vladimir Klitschko had the rematch clause against Tyson Fury after Tyson Fury beat him? Tyson Fury was stripped of his IBF title because the IBF was like, yeah, we don't give a fuck about that rematch clause. You got to fight your mandatory. So, that excuse can be used. But that's why this fight, in my personal opinion, February is too soon. Because right now, you might as well say we're in December. So let's say these fighters take the month of December off because it is the holidays. And then January going to camp and then fight in February. You know, it would have to be like the very end, super end of February. So it has to happen in March. It has to happen in March. Now, who's going to take the blame if the rematch doesn't happen? Most likely it's going to fall on Andre Ward's shoulders because he's the A side in this situation. Andre Ward has stated, well, what can Sergey Kovalev do differently than he didn't do in the first fight? In my personal opinion, what Kovalev can do is he can come into the ring a little lighter. I feel as though he may have hydrated a little too much, and he did say he was tired. Both of these fighters had to really put both of their skills to the test. So whether you say Kovalev won, whether you say Andre Ward won, Andre Ward had to work his ass off to get that barely win. Sergey Kovalev had to work his ass off. And let me say this. Sergey Kovalev and Andre Ward are now, they're known by the casuals. I remember talking about it in my last video where I was saying, on the day of the fight, you'll be surprised how many people were like, yo, the dude that's signing with Jordan is fighting tonight. He fighting that Russian dude that be fighting on HBO sometimes. These are household names now. It's crazy. I didn't think that this fight was going to be that big. These are household names right now. Andre Ward is a household name right now. He wasn't before, come on. But now people know who he is. People already knew who Kovalev was because of the HBO exposure, but now they know who he is. And follow what I'm saying. Like, they're known by the casuals now. This fight was playing in bars. People were having little get-togethers. I even had people over, and I never had people over for fights. Social media is in an uproar. They have to make this rematch immediate. It has to be. Because it's too big of a rematch not to have. They can't fuck around with this. They gotta let their egos go. They cannot fuck around with this. This is like some lightning in the bottle type shit. So in order to settle this, I say, in order to settle this, they need to announce this fight by the beginning of the new year, by the new year. And say, yes, it's happening on this date on pay-per-view. Because they got to keep this buzz going. You see what I'm saying? Right now, it's good because it's the holidays. But once January get here, the fight's got to happen. And truth be told, I don't want to see no interim bout for both of these guys. I don't want to see no interim bout. Because what if Andre Ward loses? Or what if Kovalev loses to whoever they fight? Or what if one of them get injured or something? No, make this fight immediately. Boxing needs to do something right. And now that Rock Nation is in the A side, and Rock Nation has been having a hard time, getting their name, out there in boxing. Now, guess what? They got a champion with 3 belts. So it's like, put your stamp down, I understand people want to ask me, well, what rounds did you give Andre Ward and all that? I'm not getting to all that shit, man. What I'm going to do on my Facebook page later on tonight, on my private Facebook page later on tonight, is I'm going to watch the fight with my supporters and my friends. And I'm going to fast forward and rewind, and we're going to score every round. But it's like, honestly, how can you be mad at somebody's opinion? It's not like I'm just way the fuck off to the left. I know people want to say, all those names. What's that list of names that's going around of all those media members that say that Sergey Kovalev won? There's a whole nother list that say Andre Ward won. So it's not like I'm just on some old crazy-ass bullshit like, oh, Andre Ward won. And I told you before, the race don't play a motherfucking factor. That's what's wrong with this boxing shit. And that's why I be mad at those other channels, because it's like, why race got to be involved with everything? Motherfuckers saying shit like, well, this has been happening to black fighters for, forever. It's good that it finally happened to... Come on, man. Y'all, this is, come on. So, if you look at Andre Ward's face, he looked like he was in a fight. Kovalev didn't look like he was in a fight. But that's not how you score fights. You can't look at somebody's face and be like, oh, look at his face. Cal Brook's face was fucked up against Carlson Jones, but he won the fight. So come on. Come on, guys. Also, another thing I pointed out is you have to factor in that all these judges look for things differently. Here's the analogy that I used in a recent video, right? let's say there's Judge, I'm just going to name a judge, motherfucking Burke Lang. I'm just name some random ass names. So say Judge Burke Lang, right? Say he's going to a Christmas party with his wife, right? And they ask Burke Lang, oh, what do you do, Mr. Lang? And he says, I'm a boxing judge. And they're like, oh, interesting. So who do you think won Mayweather Pacquiao? And he says, well, Mayweather won because I'm all for the clean and effective punching. I like, the sweet science. I like slow, boring fights. I like to see, the punches, like crisply land. What if we got another fucking boxing judge? Let's make up some random ass name. Horatio Ignacio, right? So imagine Horatio Ignacio is down there in Venezuela, right? And he's going to some old Venezuelan shit. And they say, oh, what do you do? And he says, I'm a boxing judge, right? And they say, how do you score fights, Horatio Ignacio? And Horatio Ignacio is like, I like to see the fighters fight. I don't like to see the boring fight. I don't like to see them dancing around the sweet science. I like to see the fight. I like to see I go for the aggressor. The aggressor. All judges look for different shit. They all look for different shit. Then you got to look at also, what if it's a boxing judge, right? I know they can't have their phones. What if it's a boxing judge, right? What if he nod off, or he look down, or his leg itch? You go, shit. And then and then he look up and he missed the punch. People say, look at the punch stats. Punch stats don't always mean anything. I feel that in the second half of the fight, Andre Ward started to get into his rhythm. And he became the better boxer. Now, what I do is, here's something I've learned about 3-4 years ago. I score the rounds by the minute. So therefore, if Kovalev wins the first minute, Ward wins the second minute, then that third minute is going to determine the round. For example, in my opinion, Andre Ward won the last round, especially if you look at those last 2 body shots he hit. I can understand when people say Andre Ward was stealing rounds. I can understand that. But, for anyone who's getting upset with people who picked Andre Ward to win, or picked Andre Ward to win, or that he did win, then it's like, it was a close fight. This is not like, Laura versus Paul Williams. This is not fucking, like fucking, the Chavez fight. Chavez Sr. It's not, this was a close fight. This was a fight that could have went either way. It's just that a lot of people picked Kovalev and a lot of people picked Ward. It all depends on what you was looking for. But one thing is for sure is, I will say that I'm wondering if Andre Ward can really beat Golovkin, even if Golovkin moves to 175. I'm wondering that. That's a legitimate argument. Andre Ward is good. He had to work his ass off. But there's questions. He left some questions out there. He left some real questions out there. But in the rematch, he's such a smart and educated boxer who hasn't been defeated in 20 years, by the way. Virgil Hunter is a smart and educated boxing trainer. They're going to make some adjustments, just like they're going to respect the shit out of the power of Sergey Kovalev. And then people bring up the clinching. The clinching wasn't excessive. Yes, Ward would do the punch and hold, but we already knew that before the fight. We already knew that before the fight. We knew what type of fight he was going to fight. And the crazy thing is, he didn't fight the fight we thought he was going to fight. He was clinching and holding, but it was nowhere near to the excess that we thought it was going to be. And even during the post-fight press conference, Andre Ward and Virgil Hunter talked about how they were surprised that Kovalev didn't want to fight on the inside because their plan was to fight on the inside, like we thought Andre Ward was going to do. He's very good on the inside. But they was right there, toe-to-toe, matching boxing skills. Kovalev's jab is amazing. Remember when Andre Ward tried to do the wind up and Kovalev jabbed the shit out of him? But then Ward's jab later on in the fight started getting more effective. Kovalev himself said, he admitted during the post-fight press conference that he got tired. So it's like, okay, next fight, what if you don't get tired? He has a very good chance. I'm not taking away from him. The second fight is still going to be a very dangerous fight for Andre Ward. I know people are saying, Andre Ward is just going to beat him again. No. Don't listen. I think it's about time that people stop disrespecting Sergey Kovalev. Dude is good. And to put it in hood layman terms, he will beat you the fuck up. You know, and his overall boxing skills is far better than anyone thought he was going to be. I knew. But there's a lot of people who thought he just was going, oh, you know, once he fights a big name, he's going to get exposed. What? What? Both of those fighters should move up in the pound-for-pound rankings just because of that fight alone. I really sincerely hope that this event is successful. It needs to be successful. And from what I'm looking at, this is a successful event. Everybody was on the edge of their seat. You can't tell me this fight didn't exceed your expectations. You can't tell me. It's just my personal opinion, guys. Don't be mad at me. You know? Don't be mad at me. It's just my personal opinion. I have no fucking allegiance to fucking Andre Ward. I got motherfuckers out here saying dumbass shit. Somebody, oh, he only good with Andre Ward because he fucking Team Jordan. Motherfucker, do I look like Team Jordan? Motherfuckers like, he only Andre Ward because he with Team Jordan. I'm not with no motherfucking Team Jordan. I'm with Team S. No, I'm not. Anyway, I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live with FightView360.com. My website is launching within the next couple of weeks. It's official. All the links to my social media are right down below in the description box. Please subscribe. Please share. Please comment. I am TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live.